One of the main modifications in the approach to a white cataract is the necessity to stain the capsule. Here I'm staining it with vision blue underneath a bubble of air to protect the endothelium. After 30 seconds, the capsule is stained well enough for me to be able to wash out the dye with BSS and then replace it with viscoelastic to expel the air bubble and maintain the anterior chamber, such that I can safely make 2 further 1mm side port incisions. The capsular axis can now be performed in a conventional manner, being careful though to avoid the sudden split of the capsule in the so-called Argentinian flag syndrome, where pressure will cause the rexis to go right out to the edge in an uncontrolled fashion. So I start with a deliberately undersized capsular rexis and pull it round, making sure that I've got full control of the flap at any one time, leading it round in about a 4mm circle, and I deliberately let it start to swing out under controlled conditions once I am certain that there is no excessive forces causing the rexis to suddenly tear out in the so-called Argentinian flag syndrome. So here I'm just tearing off an extra ribbon to extend the capsular rexis to roughly 4.5 or 5mm diameter. I perform careful Hydra Dissection, which in this case didn't require much because the lens is really becoming quite soft. I then commence phaco-emulsification with bevel down to get rid of the soft epinucleus before attacking the dense nucleus. Here I do long straight-sided grooves and widen it by about half a probe's width in order not to rock the nucleus at all. And here you can see white is slowly turning to grey and translucent grey, and then eventually a dusky colour. Once you see the dusky colour, you're deep enough, but if you stop before then, you won't be able to crack it. So now we start the crack of the nucleus in a gentle, controlled fashion, making sure the crack extends from top to bottom before you manipulate the nucleus. You rotate it as far peripherally as possible, and then the subsidiary cracks continue. In this case, I'm taking out each individual quadrant because it looked like it wanted to come, and that leaves less sharp objects and nuclear material inside the capsule as the phaco-emulsification proceeds, just in case there's a problem during the removal of this dense nucleus. So we're back down to normal speed now, because this is the danger point where there's no protection of the posterior capsule with the rest of the nuclear material. So I'm now protecting my capsule very carefully with my second instrument and just wobbling the probe, encouraging the rest of the nucleus into the probe, and we got quite good anterior chamber stability there. By manual irrigation aspiration of the remaining soft lens matter takes place in the conventional way, first with the right hand taking the aspiration cannula, and then we swap over and take the left hand for the remaining irrigation aspiration. The bag is filled with viscoelastic, and in this case I implant an Ultracert SN60WF Alcon Acrisoft lens implant and let it unfold in the conventional fashion before finally removing all the viscoelastic carefully to leave no viscoelastic in the anterior chamber. We perform sutureless surgery by hydrating the wounds gently and inject intracameral cefuroxime at the end to prevent endophthalmitis.